I hope Washington will calm down. Hong Kong is not part of the United States. Hong Kong is not a separate independent country. And China and the United States can talk over in very amicable ways to resolve many issues. But simply try to put more pressure on China, as if China is a banana republic, for example. No, no way. China and the Chinese people will be firmer up against the United States, against any such pressure. I think there are people in Washington who need to wake up to the fact that they should not indulge in fantasies anymore, that by putting more pressure on China, China will cave in. China will be more resilient against such pressure. China and the United States need to talk as equals on equal terms by respecting each other, rather than one country believing in imposing its will onto the other country.
The reality is these countries are not equal. They operate in completely different economic systems. And that leads me to my next question. I wanted to ask you, and perhaps just get your opinion on, where you see America's standing in the global order in the future as a result of the coronavirus and the administration's handling of it. Do you think that perhaps China is now taking the economic lead, albeit temporarily, as a result of this pandemic? And what does it mean longer term?
My personal view is that China and the United States are the two largest economies in the world. China is a little bit smaller than the United States these days. Eventually, China will be larger than that of the United States. But the United States will remain the only remaining superpower in the world in the foreseeable future. China has no desire and no intent to take over the U.S. position in the world as it is enjoying today. And China believes that China and the United States can really coexist with each other for many, many years and decades or centuries to come, because China believes in win-win situation. Both our two great countries and great nations need to really develop in peace, rather than, for example, indulging in any fantasy that you can force your will onto the other side. Now, the US has the most miserable record in fighting against the coronavirus. This does not need any explanation. You just look at the number, and the real responsibilities are not at any other country or at the WHO. It is because the whole situation has been mishandled by the US leaders. And this is really a laughing joke to the whole world. But this doesn't mean that the United States does not have strength and superiorities in many ways. And China is very eager to engage with the United States, to learn from the United States, to learn from the US people, to promote goodwill and friendship between China and the United States. My personal view is that for China and the United States, the only way they can survive is to get along with each other, rather than indulging in the fantasy of getting at the other's jugular, because a fallout between China and the United States will not only be mutually destructive, it will be very much destructive of mankind's peace and development.